Lesson 4-1, multiplying decimals by whole numbers, and in this lesson you learn to estimate and find the products of decimals in whole numbers. When am I ever going to use this? Knowing how to multiply a decimal by a whole number can help you find the amount of money you earn. Keywords that we are going to talk about in this lesson: compatible numbers. Let's take a look at this example. Mrs. Sofer spends $2.25 for the Saturday and Sunday edition of her local newspaper. What does this cost per year? This problem will be solved in example number 2. Okay, so when multiplying a decimal by a whole number, multiply as if with whole numbers. And one way to determine where to place the decimal point in the product is to use estimation. So when you're multiplying a decimal by a whole number, again, it gives you 2 steps. Okay, this is just one method. We'll learn the other method later on. So the first step is you multiply them as if they're whole numbers, and then the second step is to determine where to place the decimal point using estimation. And with estimation, we are going to use 2 methods as well. Okay, first method is to estimate the products using rounding and by use of compatible numbers. Let's look at method 1 using rounding. Okay, first we need to round to the greatest, round each factor to its greatest place value position. Okay, and then we multiply. Do not round 1-digit factors. Okay, method number 2 is using compatible numbers. In this case, it is easy to find the product of compatible numbers mentally. Compatible means compatible numbers mean numbers that go together, or when you multiply them, you end up with an easy product that you can do in your head. Let's take a look at example number 1. We want to find the product of 9 times 78.42. Again, let's look at method 1 using rounding. Okay, we round 78.42 to 80. Okay, and then we don't round the 1-digit factor, which is the 9. Okay, and if you notice, 80 was rounded to the greatest place value position. The greatest place value position of 78.42 is the tens place, and we rounded it in the tens place, and that's the reason why it's 80. So we don't change 9. 9 times 80 becomes 720. Then it says there too, on the top part, when multiplying a decimal by a whole number, multiply as if they're whole numbers. So we get 9, or 78.42 multiplied by 9. We multiply them as if they're whole numbers. Okay, and then if you notice, we look at our estimate, which is 720, and then we have actually 70578. How do we know where to put the decimal? Since the estimate is 720, place a decimal after the 5. Why? Because it's only logical that 705.78 is closer to 720 if you put a decimal in that position. Okay? Now, how do we how do we check our answer? Simply use a calculator, and then you end up with 700.5.78. Let's take a look at example number 2. Money matters. Refer to the beginning of the lesson. How much does Mrs. Sofer spend per year for newspapers? Again, this is a word problem, so we use the 4-step plan. And then the explore part, you know how much she spends each weekend. You want to know how much she spends in a year. Okay? So, how do we plan to solve this problem? There are 52 weeks in a year, so we simply get $2.25. That's how much she spends per weekend. Multiply that by the number of weeks. Okay, and then we want to use compatible numbers as our estimate. Again, compatible numbers that go together. So $2.25 rounds to $2, round to the greatest place value position, which is the ones place. Then multiply it by 52, and then round it again to the greatest place value position. Okay, round 50 since it's easy to multiply 2 and 5 mentally. and we know that 2 times 5 is 10. Just add a 0, it becomes 100. Okay, so our estimate is close to 100, and let's solve this. Okay, 2.25 multiplied by 52 end up with 11700. How do we know where to place the decimal point? Since the estimate is 100, place a decimal point after 7. Okay, and checking your answer compared to the estimate, the answer is reasonable. Okay, so that is how we can multiply a whole number in a decimal by using an estimate. Okay, to be able to place the decimal point. Okay, and let's look at example number 3. You can also determine where to place the decimal point in the product by counting the number of decimal places in the decimal factor. The product must have the same number of decimal places. If more places are needed, annex zeros. Another word for annex is add. Okay, so when they say annex zeros, they're simply saying you add zeros. Okay, so let's take a look at example number 3. Evaluate the expression 3a. If a equals 0.032, again, evaluate means find the value of, and 2 steps in evaluating. The first step is substitute. The second step is to simplify. Okay, so let's copy the problem 3a, and let's substitute a with 0.032. So we are replacing a with 0.032, and now we multiply 0.032 times 3. Okay, so 0.032 times 3, we know that 0.032 has 3 decimal places, 3 has no decimal places, therefore the product should have 3 decimal places. Okay, and that means we simply add a 0 or annex a 0 on the left to make 3 decimal places. Okay, and that's how you multiply a whole number by a decimal. Okay, by counting the number of decimal places. Okay, so how do we check our answer? Checking your answer is quite easy. We simply add 0.032, okay, 3 times, and we still end up with 0.096. Let me give another example. Okay, let's say you have let's say you have 0.28, and you want to multiply it by 4. Okay, now you can either put the 0 before a decimal or not, it doesn't really matter. So let's multiply 0.28 times 4. First things first, let's multiply them as if they're whole numbers. 8 times 4 is 32, carry 3. Okay, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So 28 times 4 is 112. But if you notice, okay, 0.28 has 2 decimal places, 4 has no decimal places. Okay, decimal places. Okay, and you simply add the decimal place. You should have 2 decimal places in your answer. Okay, so going from the back of 112, you count 2 decimal places, 1, 2. The answer, the product is 1.12. Let's take a look at another example, and we will use the lattice method for this. Okay, so this is the lattice method if you haven't learned this yet. So let's say you are being asked to multiply 3.25, okay, by 802. From what we learned in multiplying decimals with whole numbers, you multiply them as if they're whole numbers. So instead of doing the traditional way of multiplication, we'll do the lattice method. Okay, and I'll show you how to do the lattice method. First, you create your own lattice, and it's you are going to create a 3 by 3 lattice because there are 3 digits in both factors. So we do 3 rows. Okay, how you wish your pens would act this way. There you go, 3 rows there, 3 rows here. Okay, so first you write down 3, 2, 5. Nope, that's not what we're going to do now. We're going to get rid of that one and back to the normal pen. 3, 2, 5. Let us disregard the decimal for now, because we are going to multiply them as if they are whole numbers. And let's put 802 on this side. Okay, so 3 by 3. Then next up in our lattice method, we are going to divide the squares into 2. Okay, so we get that square, divide that into 2, and simply extend that line a little bit. That square connected to that dot right over there, and that dot. Oops, let's redo that again. Okay, let's do this and this, this and this, and extend a little bit. This and this. This is actually how probably you'll be doing it in your notebooks. Not a perfect science. Okay. Now the beauty about the lattice method is you don't have to worry about lining up digits. Okay. Okay, so let's start. In the lattice method, if you see this square right here, the top triangle represents your tens place, and the bottom triangle represents the ones place of your product. For example, if I do 3 times 8, the product of 3 times 8 would be 24. So I would put 2 here because that's a tens place of 24, and the units place or the ones place is 4. If I do 2 times 8, it will be 16. Tens place is 1, okay, and the ones place is 16. And we continue to do the same thing. 5 times 8 is 40. Another beauty of the lattice method is you can do whatever multiplication, whatever 2 digits you want to multiply first. It won't matter. You won't have to worry about lining it up, or you won't have to worry about messing up. Okay, so if I do 3 times 2 next right here, okay, it would be 9, so the tens place would be 0. The ones place would be, it's not 9. Okay, so parentheses, it's not 9, it is 6. Okay, so it is 6. 2 times 2 is 0, 4. Okay, and 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, and the last one would be 3 times 0, that will all be 0. 2 times 0 is 0, and 5 times 0 is obviously 0. Okay, so the next step in our lattice method would be to add them diagonally. So add them diagonally, starting from the very bottom right here. So 0 is simply 0, and then 1 plus 4 is 5. Okay, and then this becomes 6. Okay, and then 6 plus 4 is 10. Right there, since it's 10, we need to carry 1 to the next diagonal. We have 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 2 is 6. And we simply bring down the 2. And we write the digits this way. Okay, and when you write the digits this way, you now have 2, 6, 0, 6, 5, 0. Okay, now I told you at the beginning that let's not put the decimal point first. After finding the product of 325 and 802, let's bring in the decimals. Since in this case there are 2 decimal places, and in this case there are 0 decimal places, our answer should have 2 decimal places. So from 0, we count 2 decimal places to the left, 1, 2, and our answer would be, okay, 2,606.5. Okay, and that is the product of 3.25 times 802. Okay, and that is the end of our lesson. On my Big Campus or Google Forms, type a summary of what you've learned, responding to the objectives of the lesson, and write a question you will be asking in class about this lesson. Thank you.